Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Ferretti, and this is Yogaland. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Andrea.
Welcome back.
We're back together.
We're back together again. We're sort of heading into our end of year reflective period. And on this episode, we're going to focus on the lessons that yoga has given us this year,
Yeah,
what we're grateful for, and what we'd like to let go of.
totally.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do we have any housekeeping to attend to
I
before
think
we
the only
begin?
really quick housekeeping is 200-hour online training up, happening. Couldn't be so more excited for it. Registration, well, we begin on January 13th.
Yeah.
So join, register,
Yeah,
all
early
those things.
bird is wrapping up soon. So you save $300 when you sign up early, and I believe we're closing it on December 21st.
31st,
S- tw-
31st, 31st. On the website, it says 31st.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry
31st.
guys. I'm
3-1.
I'm the
Yeah.
marketing
This
VP
year.
and
Get
I
in,
struggle with all the hats.
get in this year.
So it's jasonyoga.com/200 if you're interested. All right, housekeeping attended to.
Done.
So let's begin.
Yeah.
Um, when I had to reflect on this question, what yoga has given me this year, the first thing that came to mind was subtler practices. So it's really been my year, and I think your
You
year
said
too.
subtler practices, right?
hmm It's really been my year, and I think your year too, of more breath work and meditation than ever before.
Me, much so, more so pranayama than meditation.
hmm
My meditation practice is still, to be honest, more or less on hiatus.
hmm
Like I'll sit for a few moments after I breathe. But for me, the thing that has really changed about my pranayama practice is I used to have it more set aside and separate from the other facets of my life. And so therefore I wasn't as consistent with it. Now, here's how I do pranayama every day of my life. I lay in bed and breathe. Literally,
Do you do it twice a day?
I do it usually twice a day
Right.
now. So there's a technique I'm doing before I go to bed, more or less like an hour or two before bed.
hmm
I'm doing 2-to-1 ratio breathing, or actually 1-to-2 ratio breathing. So I'll inhale for 5 seconds, pause for 5 seconds, exhale for 10. So I'm doing that 10 minutes every evening.
hmm
And then I'm also most days, midday, taking like a little pranayama break. And I am so embarrassed to admit this, but one of the main things that has me doing more pranayama, especially during the day, is what?
Your biometrics.
Yeah, my biometrics and my looking at HRV
hmm
and having this externalized reinforcement of, hey, buddy, guess what? Your nervous system is actually on alert. Like I know it is,
hmm
but having that as a secondary feedback and then just realizing I can just lay on the couch for 10 minutes
hmm
and instead of scrolling Instagram, which is more likely to irritate me,
hmm
I can do simple pranayama and not think it has to be this whole thing. And I am so thankful.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, HRV is heart rate variability, and Jason just started using an Apple Watch recently. Which gives you your heart rate variability, and it shows you on a graph throughout the day. We don't wear our Apple Watches at night, so my Aura Ring tracks mine at night, and it's in the toilet. I'm actually getting a sleep study because it's so bad. But when you do your pranayama practice more regularly, what do you notice in your HRV?
When I do my pranayama practice, recovery is greater,
Okay.
right? So so pretty much what'll happen throughout the day. And again, this totally mirrors my own interoception of self,
Right.
right? But having this as a
No, it's
secondary
helpful. When you
outside,
see a
yeah,
visual,
it
it's
literally,
helpful.
it makes me feel more responsible to myself rather
hmm
than like blowing it off. So my HRV typically in the morning is really high. It's really good. And then throughout the day, it crashes.
hmm
And so I can feel it. And typically a crash for me throughout the day is I'm getting more sympathetic drive,
hmm
right? I'm getting
Which
more
means the
like
HRV goes lower.
correct.
hmm
So I'm getting more of a tired and wired component,
hmm
right? And that's part of my neurotype. I think a lot of people deal with that, but that's part of for me having ADHD, one of the things that fuels my productivity throughout the day is being stressed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so stress like is like gasoline for me to work.
Yeah, it's very common for
It's
ADHD.
very common, right? And so what I now have a greater sense of is I need to have some breakthrough the day for that. And by being able to visualize that on the graph, seeing like, oh, this HRV is tanking,
Mm-hmm.
then I take that pause and 10 minutes, not 8 minutes, not 11 minutes. Like literally for me, I can feel it physiologically. The the greater parasympathetic response, like a greater uh, regulation of the two hemispheres of the nervous system. I can feel it
Mm-hmm.
at like minute 10.
That's good.
Yeah,
For
it's
me,
amazing.
totally depends on the day. I don't always feel it. I don't always like internally feel it. Sometimes it's just like doing it and just doing it,
Yeah,
but I don't feel it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. For me, fingers crossed, it's been really nice.
that's good.
And honestly, the thing that has made me such a consistent asana practitioner throughout the years is the same thing,
Yeah.
which is not trying to make it a completely separate part of my life. Right. But like rolling the yoga mat out in the living room and doing down dog and my hip openers and whatever while you're around, while Sophia's around, while, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like not feeling like it has to be this totally separate, pristine environment helps me have extreme consistency with these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. It's something interesting. Just I'm reminded of when I was at Yoga Journal many, many years ago. And I mean, I don't feel like I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but this was like years before people were connecting meditation practice with neuroscience um, in mainstream life. So I was familiar with Richard Davidson, who has done a lot of that, and he's at University of Wisconsin. But there weren't very many other people. So I remember saying to the editor in chief, "Can we do a story about kind of like what Richard Davidson's talking about?" And we ended up calling the story "This Is Your Brain on Meditation," and it was written by Kelly McGonigal, who's really great. And she was the person who introduced me to HRV in this story and heart rate variability. And she talked about how meditation has a measurable impact on HRV. And I will say in general, my HRV is really not great. It's very average to low average for my age range. And I think to myself all the time, what would it be if if I hadn't done all these practices for 30
Totally.
years?
Totally.
I think I am just naturally pretty sympathetically driven.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obvious. Like one of my earliest memories is being anxious, like feeling anxiety in my body, not even just in my mind, but in my body. Um, so I think about that all the time. Like, okay, my HRV is getting better, actually, but it's nothing to write home about.
Sure.
But how bad would it be if I'd never found any of these
I
practices?
don't know. Glad we have.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
What else this year?
Okay. So the other thing I thought of was acceptance. And, usually when I bring up acceptance in the past, when I've brought it up on the podcast, it's always been like self acceptance, self compassion. But in this instance, I'm not really talking about self acceptance. I'm talking about acceptance of what is. And what you and I have both, I think, really experienced this year is the aging of our bodies
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah.
And that for both of us at different times, it's manifested as pain. So for me, I had a lot of knee pain and a lot of foot pain and some pretty significant weight gain. And you've had shoulder pain now for how long?
I've had a shoulder injury for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But I'm coming out of it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think it's really forced both of us to, because we've both gone through periods where the pain's just persistent
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't really know the way out. And we're trying different things and
Yeah.
we're experimenting
Yeah.
with different things and we're talking to different people and we're working with different people, but it hasn't resolved the way it has in the past. And so we've both been grappling with like, okay, this is just how it is today. Don't know how it's going to be tomorrow. Not going to give up. Like accepting is not apathy. We're not giving up on feeling better, but genuinely don't know what's going to happen right now. So how do we work with what we've got?
I struggle a lot with acceptance and with external variables, but also the internal variable that you're speaking of, age.
Mm-hmm.
And like here's the thing, like I feel like I'm gonna sound cheesy saying this, but I've always been an old soul,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Me
But
too.
now my body's caught up with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and there is this part of me too where long before I knew what yoga was, I was interested in existentialism and existential philosophy and all the existential transcendentalist philosophers. Like I've always wanted to understand who I am. And I came to yoga more from that path than the physical path. And as like a practice of self-inquiry and self-knowledge. And I spent a ton of time teaching the physicality of it, and I love the physicality of it. But I've always been, I think, a seeker of understanding. Like I want to understand and I want to understand myself. And so that's where I say I kind of feel like I'm an old soul, right? Like I'm genuinely interested in self and relationship to others. But like I said, now my body's caught up. And that I don't feel
I don't like that very
I don't
much.
like that.
It's hard.
I don't like that. But even in small bits, right? Like I bring up jujitsu once in a while that is an environment where actually I have not accepted my age. I've not accepted my physicality because I can work hard and intensely with young guys and Marines and all these people. But having had this very complex shoulder injury that has lasted a long time, I'm about to start training again. And if I don't accept some of the realities and some of the features of having an older body that takes longer to recover, I'm going to create a lot of problems for myself again. Right. So I really am staring much more clearly in the face with my absolute limitations,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think, not at all to be morbid, but I know I'm in the second half of my life, right? This is the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not probably not the very beginning of the third quarter, right? Like we're into the third quarter. And so for me, accepting that part is helping me become clearer with my values and what really is important,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm getting to these things where I'm like, I don't know that I'll be able to do X, Y, or Z again. I don't know if I don't do X, Y, or Z now, if that opportunity will come up and around, right? And I'm not planning on disappearing off the face of the earth tomorrow. But I really am. I am looking at this third and fourth quarter, saying, okay, what's this going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do I really want this to be? And this is it. This is it. But the upside of that is I genuinely do think it's helping me be even more grateful that that we have the life that we have, and that I feel like I have that clarity of it's important to really value the rest of this time. What else for you this year is something that you feel has like been a lesson of the year, or something that you feel grateful for?
I just want to say one more thing about the acceptance piece, which is I think for me, because I talked on the last episode of Yoga-ish about starting a strength training program. And I've been doing strength work and things at the gym for more than 10 years steadily since my cancer diagnosis. But I'm doing now, it's much more intense and much longer duration. And I'm feeling my body heal from these things that have been hurting all year and where I didn't know if it was going to get better. and I've been feeling my body getting stronger. And so for me, I've been holding this line of like, don't get seduced by this idea that you can completely work out your way out of aging. Right?
Yes.
It's like
Right.
it's a fine line. It's this fine line between accepting what is and working with what's right in front of you, and also accepting that we do age and decay and it does
Yeah.
end. So you better kind of enjoy it now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. No, I have that feeling. And I think also in terms of appreciating, not balancing out what I was saying a moment ago is the vast majority of my physicality and emotions are in fact healthy.
Hmm.
They do work well.
Right.
I still move well. I still work well. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Right.
I can still focus. I still have my mind. I still have clarity. I still have great relationships, you
Hmm.
know? So it's not just what feels like is impermeable and maybe like lessening. I feel really glad that I've been extremely fortunate in my life, but also that I've taken advantage of and I've taken care of the opportunities that I've been presented with myself and that things still work well.
Hmm. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing I thought of is as I've gone through this strength training program, and it's really been such a different daily work with my body, it's so much more fatiguing than what I've been doing for the past 10 years or so. I'm really grateful to yoga because without the consistent building of awareness that I've done since my mid 20s, I wouldn't have the discernment to know when to push myself harder and when to take days off or when to back down. And I think the sort of fitness world is starting to talk more and more about recovery,
Yeah.
which is good. And
Yeah.
there's starting to be more science on recovery and sleep cycles and how important that is for building muscle and for the brain and all of these things. But I think we've known that in yoga for a really long time. We've known how important it is to downregulate and to take care of yourself and to listen to your body. And so that, even though I haven't been doing as much of an active asana practice this year because of my knee, because of my foot, I just wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing at 53 without, in this body that I have, in this nervous system that I had, without the discernment that yoga's given me.
I want to add to that. And this is something I haven't brought up, but kind of say it's like I've been studying a lot of strength and conditioning trainings, right? And one of the things that I see is that the down regulation in fitness, high level sports, and so forth, that down regulation and that recovery or regeneration cycle is is largely in framing or reference to be able to work hard again or to perform again or excel again, right?
Hmm.
Great. But I'm also really helpful that we have the discernment that it is its own value,
Hmm.
that it is its own way of life, that being rested and recovered isn't just so that you can work to fatigue again. That's how it is culturally in those other environments, especially with more professional sports, because in that environment, that recovery cycle or that regeneration cycle is to get you to ultimately achieve more.
Hmm.
But in the yoga context, that rest, recovery, regeneration cycle is implicitly valuable in and of itself, right? And I am so happy that it's not, oh, the rest, recovery, regeneration cycle isn't just so I can bust myself more.
Hmm.
It's so that I can savor this life,
Hmm.
that I
Hmm.
can live in this quieter space and this quieter tone. Um, and having, like you said, use the word discernment, right? To really say, oh, this isn't just so that I can grind again. This is of equal value,
Yeah,
you know?
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. So in terms of those are kind of like appreciation life lessons.
Hmm.
What else are you grateful for in this current moment and year?
hmm I don't know if it's too dramatic to start out with this one, but
It's not.
the first thing that came to my mind when I pondered this question is not having cancer.
I'm super grateful that you don't have cancer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, it's been, how many years has it been?
12?
12. Wait, 2015. Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
11. Wait, I don't
It's been a
remember.
while.
2014,
Yeah.
11. And as any cancer survivor out there listening, of which there are many of us, you know that it doesn't ever really end. Because anytime any little thing comes up, um, all the health care professionals you see will see that you've had cancer in your history and will take it very, very seriously, regardless of what is happening. You know, I've had experiences of having low white blood cells and had to go through all of these leukemia tests. Um, I've had more gynecological problems and had to have lots of ultrasounds. I had to have another biopsy this year. And you always have to have your regular cancer checkups and all of those tests. So yeah, it's been a tumultuous year, as it usually is for
Yeah.
us, with dealing with all of that. And yet at the same time, I mean, it's just changed who I am in the world and my experience of being in a healthy body every day. And when I get, I think I grew up a pretty sensitive person, which means I was kind of complaining about my body a lot and not feeling good or not this or my mood and it's completely transformed the way that I relate when I notice myself getting that way. Again, worrying about some little stupid thing that's not working in my body at the moment or doesn't feel good, I really do remind myself, like, you're not in an MRI machine right
Yeah.
now. You're not, and it might, here's the thing. I'm saying this, I feel a little odd talking about it because there are people listening to me right now who do have cancer.
Sure.
And I don't mean to separate myself and say that's never going to happen, right? It's like we are all going to experience this hardship of, again, like a body that's not always going to be here. But it's more about just being grateful with where things are in this moment right
Yeah.
now.
Well, I think, you know, not, it gives a different baseline,
hmm
right? It gives like a different baseline. And I am petty about petty things all of the time, right? I think that's a normal human response to life. But to have that yeah, like I said, that baseline is a really big deal, right? Like it's really helpful. And I think uh, it would be nice to not have that baseline or not have m- minor possible health issues be seem to have much greater potential magnitude,
hmm
right? Be nice to not have those things, but not having cancer is something to totally savor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think we both are.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna throw this in. It's not quite on the list, but I was joking with you about this the other day. I'm obviously thankful of our relationship in many ways, but I think we had our
But there's a but in there. Okay.
there's a but.
Okay.
It's not really a but. It's an and.
Okay.
I think we had our biggest argument of the year, certainly of the last 6
Oh
months.
no.
And we're not going to go into it in deep,
Okay.
okay? But this is something I want to celebrate,
Oh yeah.
okay?
Okay.
That our biggest arguments, either of the year or the last 6 months, was about the Gilmore Girls
hmm
and whether or not Jess,
We're Team Jess or Team Dean.
yeah,
Yeah.
and neither of us are either, right? But
Right.
we don't have to go into it right now, and we're not going to. But I would say that genuinely, you and I were both really annoyed with each other. Not existentially annoyed. It
Yeah.
wasn't but you know what I mean. Like we were
Well, we were
disagreeing.
both standing our ground.
We were standing on the ground, and I will say that was at least 45 minutes.
I
Okay.
think the thing, yes, absolutely.
So my point on this is, I think this is a really good sign.
Totally.
Right?
The other thing that was really
Right?
funny about it is that Sophia was in the room when the argument started and she
Yeah,
watches
she
the show
left.
with us. So she was sort of like weighing in here and there. And then she looked at us and she said, "You guys are crazy. I love you so much. I'm going upstairs." And then we
Yeah.
continued for another 15 to 20 minutes or so to to expound on why one of us should be more Team Jess or Team Dean. And we're not going to reveal who was
No,
who was which, who
no,
was what.
no.
I don't think anyone would actually guess, but you're welcome to if you would like to
Yeah,
guess.
you can put in the comments
And you
below.
can also tell us if you had to choose. Here's the thing. Neither of us are fully Team Dean or Dean Jess.
No.
But if you had to choose, that's what it came down to. If you
Yeah.
had to, let us know who it would be.
Okay.
I would love to know.
You wrote in here having the patience privilege.
Oh, I just meant I didn't put any commas in.
Okay.
Having the patience, privilege, means, and supportive community to homeschool our daughter.
Big time. All of those things. All of those things. Unpack it a little bit.
Gosh, I mean, well, we made the decision a year ago, and it's incredible the change we see in her.
Yeah.
Our life is so much better on a day-to-day basis. And I think that if I could sum up why it works for her and her neurotype, it's because she has the just enough challenge right now. She has enough challenging things in her life, enough stimulating things in her life, enough fun things in her life, enough love in her life without it being too much. And for years, going to school every day, it was too much. And we pushed and we pushed and we tried so hard and we tried so many alternatives and we did so many things, and it just wasn't working for her. And it was a really big deal for both of us to take the step emotionally, logistically, financially. I mean, I, yeah, I could be out there making more money for both of us.
I was just going to
if,
say,
you
like,
know,
you are, Andrea is an inextricable part of
Right.
our business.
Yes.
Right. Totally inextricable. But outside of Yogaland, you take more of a production role and more of a support role.
yeah,
Whereas I take more of like a development, like a business development, training, teaching. Like I'm doing those things, producing.
yeah.
I do
You're
all
the
the production
talent.
for everything.
You're the talent
right?
these days.
I am the talent, but I do not need to be the single talent. That's what we're getting to. Is like there's a lot of like teaching and content you could be providing and so
Yeah.
forth. So you've had to take the time and more of the emotional bandwidth.
Right.
I would say it's not just the time. I'd say it's the bigger thing is the emotional bandwidth
Yeah.
for it.
And I think for when she was first born, for many years, I was really, and I notice a lot of moms talk about this more, and a lot of young women who are afraid to have kids talk about this. It was really hard for me to go from being, having a 15 to 20-year career, successful career, to really stepping it down because she needed more attention and more time than I couldn't do both. Logistically, I could not do both and do her justice. And it took me many, many years to adjust to that.
Yeah.
And I think homeschooling her was like the biggest, like, okay, I'm going all in on this. And it has just been so worth it.
The only other thing I want to add to this conversation, because I feel like this needs to be said, is a big way that I think that we let go and had the patience to try something new was the ability and the trust that sometimes you just have to meet the moment and really not worry about, well, in 15 years from now, will she still have friends?
Yeah.
In 15 years from now, will she work for Morgan Stanley?
Yeah.
How she, it's
Absolutely.
like this. And the reality is there is so much between here and there that is unknown that when you make up a story about how things need to be instead of responding to in the most skillful way, for us, that was not acting skillfully. So just feeling like we had to do the more conventional thing to suit a more conventional order.
Yeah.
And then letting go of that.
Right.
And we might come back to it, right? Like
Right.
full circle, just to be transparent. She's kind of getting a little bit bored with all the home stuff and she wants more in-person stuff. She's starting to do more in-person stuff. So I also feel so genuinely confident in her raw materials and the head on her shoulders that I'm kind of like, I'm not too worried because there's so much in this container
Mhm.
that so long as she's supported in a way that the best way that she can be supported, that's going to give her the greatest opportunity to be well and happy,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I think we both had our own fears about it, and we both were able to support each other in making the decision. And I think what you said about not worrying or trying, it's always an effort. Trying not to worry about will she go to college or will she get a graduate degree or will she work 9 to 5? Will she be able to be in the work? It goes for the same thing for your career. So I just see so many young women on social media right now, like, I'm so afraid to have kids because there's no support for mothers and la 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 la. And all I can say to that is, and it goes, there's lots of stay-at-home dads out there these days too. All I can say to that is, like, this is just temporary. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm scared. It's only like 5 years till she's 18.
Oh my
Now
God.
at this point, I just want to hold on to everything so tightly. Like, I can start working more in 5 years.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
still get
Yeah. Yeah.
another graduate degree in five
Yeah.
years. We just get so hung up on what every step means
Yeah.
according to typical plans. And I think for us, or typical timelines, and for us, when we made this leap to kind of get out of the norms, right? It's been incredibly freeing in every way
Yeah.
for our family.
Yeah. I want to really quick say one more thing I'm thankful for. You kind of leaned into it for a moment. And then I want you to tell us a thing or two that you're excited to like let go of.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you again to our community, our listeners, the people that watch YouTube, that listen to this show, that that practice with me on Glow, that do my trainings. Uh, we are not short format people. You know what I mean? So like it's just so valuable. So obviously everyone that I just cited, it's important because you all sustain our livelihood. But more than that, you sustain our need to be creative and to engage with the world and to have a purpose,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And when I say like we're not short format people, what I mean by that is the thing that I love about trainings is it is just a much more meaningful, longer, deeper engagement than anything that can exist in social media.
Yeah.
And we spend so much time and teachers spend so much time in social media think they have to do X, Y, and Z, but the quality of those relationships are so low. Whereas I, even for the people that I don't know that listen to this podcast or watch the show, make me feel meaningful. And then when people do trainings, that's the the meaning the meaning in that dynamic is so much greater
Hmm.
than what we're getting in day-to-day social media landscape, that it just feels like there's so much more quality of humanness and relationship that we get to have because we have an audience
Yeah. That's
and
actually
because we have a community.
very well put.
Yeah.
Very well put.
What are you letting go of?
What am I letting go of? Oy, it's
Just one or two
hard, but
things.
I will say my two things that I thought of are related to each other. One is just sort of self-imposed limitations, and the
Mhm.
other is perfectionism. I think they're very related. So when
I'm leaning into perfectionism hard this year.
yeah, like
No,
letting it
no,
go.
keeping it, maintaining it. I'm joking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Um, well, so when I'm referring to self-imposed limitations, I'm thinking more about my future career direction
Yeah.
and how hard it is for me to I just put myself in such a box. It's like I worked at Yoga Journal and I was an editor and I was a writer. And that is what I talk about forever and ever for the rest of my life, the end. That's all anyone wants to hear from me. And I have a lot of other different interests and I have a
Yeah.
lot of other different strengths
Yeah.
and I have a hard time. Even the podcast, it's called Yogaland. Like I didn't call it something about wellness or
Yeah.
because I was too scared.
You feel overly bound to like a predetermined niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am doing some things to bolster my skills to try to break out of this niche in a way that I feel um, valid doing, because that's just how I am. I just always have to feel like I'm ready for it. But uh, I still am going to have to let myself come out of the box
Mhm.
and not do it perfectly. Just do it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exact same for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been having this feeling lately of I don't want to be constrained or controlled by the way I've ever done anything in the past. Right?
It's hard.
It's really hard. And I mean that professionally. I just feel like, I love yoga. I love teaching yoga, but I'm wanting to be more intellectually engaged um with other let me say this kind of the right way. I I teach this in my trainings all the time, and I've been chipping away at this in various ways. As a yoga teacher, I'm really tired of feeling random. I'm very tired of feeling like I just provide random group exercise classes that contain some yoga insights.
Hmm.
Long before I knew what yoga was, I wanted to be a teacher. And whenever I thought about being a teacher, I thought much more about program development, about curriculum development, about matriculating or progressing people through a protocol, through a process, right? And the more I continue to study strength and conditioning protocols, and the more that I just on my own continue to do education that is outside of yoga, I see, just to be frank, I see how much better other communities are at developing programs for people as opposed to one-off classes for people.
Hmm.
And so I think this is twofold, right? Which is one is to continue to factor in more teaching opportunities where I'm progressing people through a process and a protocol that is instead of here's a bunch of great classes, right? The other thing is I I like so many things other than just I like so many things other than just yoga.
Hmm.
And I like working with populations. So I'm going to start working with the people that I train with. There's some
In
so I'll,
jujitsu.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
start doing some strength mobility recovery and yoga for people in the jiu-jitsu world,
Mm-hmm.
both casuals like me, but also some of the professionals. And then there's other environments where I want to really where I really want to help people. I'm just gonna say it in this way as like people that have more clarity and goal orientation. That's not the only. It's not the only thing I want to do. But if you have clarity and you have goal that you want to be act to develop more strength or more flexibility or more emotional stability or whatever it is, I want to spend much more time in the programming phase and say, okay, well, what does this mean? This isn't, and I so oftentimes as yoga teachers, we think about a sequence. We don't really think about periods of sequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in strength and conditioning, there's periodization. Yoga doesn't really do that.
No.
It doesn't really do that. And so for me, because I really love the educational journey more than the one-off class, I'm continuing to build my skill set in order to move into that world more overtly,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And again, this is more of a it's more of an addition into my skill set
Mm-hmm.
than it is I'm not going to do what I do anymore, but I just cranking out individual classes is it's just not as intellectually demanding for me as it once was. And so taking people and communities through a longer outcome directed journey is like that's the puzzle that I want to
Mm-hmm.
solve. That's the puzzle that I want to solve.
One of the things we've talked about in the past is just lifelong learning as a value
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
growth mindset. And I think that's kind of what you're describing, is wanting to continue to grow and wanting to continue to learn in different ways. And I have the same thing. So,
Yeah. The one more tiny thing about it is it's also a way for me, being interdisciplinary for me is also a way to continue to see things more clearly, because the more we can see subject, object, experience A from multiple perspectives, the less dogmatic and ideological we're going to be. And so for me to continue to learn and train and more overtly incorporate other skill sets, the more I continue, I mean, I always have, but the more I continue to integrate things outside of just a conventional yoga box, I believe the closer I am getting to objectivity and clarity,
hmm,
at right,
okay.
as opposed to just seeing something through the prism of how I've always seen it.
Hmm, That's interesting. I haven't heard you say that yet.
I don't know if I've said
We'll talk more about it offline, because I think it's time to wrap this up.
It is.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to let go of, or did that kind of cover it?
I want to let go of the Dean versus Jess thing within me, because it's still a little sore. It's not.
Can I just say, okay. No, I was going to say, if you really are holding on to it, then the only reason is because you need to be right. So, okay. Were you
swear
joking?
to you, I'm
okay,
not.
good.
Yes.
Because it's over for me too.
It's over for me.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Love you all out there listening. Thanks for listening. We really do love you and send you all the best right now. And if you love us, please share the podcast. Please rate and review it, and enjoy your practice. Until next week, enjoy your practice.